What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Game Theory, KSI vs. Joe Weller vs. Logan Paul. Why Logan Paul would win by the Game Theorist. Now, I don't know what KSI and Joe Weller and Logan Paul have anything to do with game theories, so this should be interesting. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, hopefully it's going to be interesting. The original link's in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to the Game Theorist. Without any further ado, let's begin.
Okay, kid, if you want to be a YouTuber, you gotta be tough. You gotta learn how to bob and weave around the bad comments. You gotta develop a hook to bring in the subs. And you gotta keep on fighting till they ring that notification bell. It ain't gonna be easy, kid, but if you work with me, I'll turn you into a lean, meme fighting machine. Now get in there and chill for your merch.
I don't have any merch. I did at one point, but over the course of like 4 months, I sold 6. I repeat, 6 shirts over the course of like 4 months. And I didn't make a single cent from it, so I don't know why people sell merch. It doesn't seem like it's worth it in the end. Ba-ba-da-ba.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that today is exploring the influences behind influencer boxing. Loyal theorists, maybe it's all the Wendy's commercials I've been seeing lately, but honestly, I've developed a craving for some beef. And not necessarily the hot, fresh, never frozen beef that's getting peddled by the Baconator, but
Did that say this was sponsored?
That's getting peddled by the Baconator.
Please sponsor us, Wendy's, so they want to be sponsored.
But celebrity beef. Not to toot my own horn too much, but I've been making YouTube videos and gradually getting subscribers for a long time now. And yet, I have never once had a single newsworthy feud with another YouTuber. Markiplier has never blatantly stolen one of my videos. Rosanna Pansino has never talked smack about my mama, as far as I know, but I got my eye on you, Ro. Heck, even as much as I rib Austin about his yelling and his bizarre Twitter habits, our fights have never gone beyond arguing over which Doki Doki Literature Club character is best. He argues Yuri, but we all know there's only one answer. Just Monica.
Hey, Monica, hey, Monica.
In short, I can't help but feel like I'm missing out. If good, clean, wholesome content like working to raise awareness for the humanitarian efforts of the Gates Foundation for 3 years, or raising money for hurricane victims isn't cutting it, then forget it! I want to write a diss track. I want to be forced to make a fully monetizable apology video for my conduct.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired right there.
I want to step into an effing boxing ring and get beaten senseless. Maybe not that last one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boxing. A little over a week ago, one of YouTube's biggest gamers, FIFA legend turned rapper turned just general bad boy of YouTube, KSI, got into the ring and boxed with singer/vlogger Joe Weller. The live stream attracted millions.
Yeah, I was there when it was live streaming. Like, I was watching it live. It was quite a spectacle to behold, if that's the right word. I don't know.
Of concurrent viewers, and nearly 25 million views in its first week, making it unquestionably one of the most viewed amateur boxing matches in history. Up there with probably the Olympics, if not bigger. Those sorts of numbers would put most professional matches to shame, though it's a bit hard to say since those are all pay-per-view bouts. Any way you slice it, this thing was massive. And when you actually stop and watch the video, completely legit. KSI and Joe Weller weren't just two guys who decided one afternoon to slap on some gloves and play Little Mac. They actually really put time and effort into their training.
Yeah, didn't they have like 3 months or something like that to train, or longer? Like, I know they had a long time.
And yet, of course, because it was two YouTubers, the news media wants to poo-poo over the entire thing. Say, for instance, The Telegraph, who called it a, quote, stain on the noble art of boxing. Well, hate to tell you, news media, but it wasn't. And it's time that I, Matt Pat, defend the work of my fellow YouTubers by throwing my hat into the ring. Not to fight, though. Holy heck no, my eyes tear up if I stub a toe. Nope, today's episode is all about how KSI won so lopsidedly. What tactics were the guys using? What historical boxers were they using as their proverbial strategy guides? And how KSI's next opponent, which looks like it's shaping up to be Logan Paul, tactics were the guys using?
Balls. Okay, there we go. It's not going to be Logan Paul. I think KSI said Logan Paul is not one of the people who's going to be boxing. Neither of the Pauls. It's going to be either like Furious Pete, Vitali, or some other person who's actually like a boxer, which would be very interesting to see them fight.
Seeing Logan get rocked in a ring would be tremendously satisfying. Still, it might be a match that KSI should turn down. Oh, and to answer the inevitable questions around why this is a game theory, because KSI was a gamer.
That's the link. That's the link.
You're a FIFA gamer, you're a YouTuber, you can't do it.
And because I did that really weird episode in year 1 of Game Theory where I analyzed Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and edited everything to a remixed version of Jock Jams. Just please accept one of those 2 answers and let's
Get into the news!
Get ready to rumble! I'll accept it, sure. I mean, then again, I think the Game Theory, you have a whole bunch of theories on, YouTube and YouTube's algorithm, so I'll accept it.
Watch the fight, the first thing that immediately stands out is both fighters' guards. As soon as the first round starts, Joe makes a beeline for KSI, holding a guard known as a peekaboo guard, with his hands at either side of his face. This is a style that was probably most famously used by Mike Tyson, especially in his earlier bouts from the 1980s. However, this is also where Joe makes his first crucial mistakes of the match, a mistake that KSI actually identifies and takes advantage of.
What I will say when I watched it, Joe, like, he had his arms up like that, but he never actually like punched that much. He was just, like, defending the whole time. It wasn't really, out there. That's what I noticed.
Joe didn't move his head enough, bro. I'm going to just jab through that. I'm going to smash through that constantly.
The difference between Mike Tyson's peekaboo block and Joe Weller's peekaboo block is movement and speed. He's also ensuring that his head is a moving target, making it hard for any opponent to actually land a punch. Joe's head, meanwhile, is just a target bobbing there waiting to be smacked over and over again, repeatedly until the match is over. Now let's look at KSI, whose guard is, well, a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, KSI didn't really have much of a guard. He had his hands down half of the time. And I'm surprised, like, there were so many times where Joe could have gone in, but didn't. So, I mean, you can't blame him for not having his guard up. It's not as if Joe is throwing that many, punches back.
But points to him in identifying it himself in his reaction video.
My right hand should not be there. It was terrible. Like, my hand should be in here.
And while that may seem like it would be an odd stance for a boxer, it's actually not. The movement KSI is describing here is called the Philly shell, which is a guarding position with the lead arm horizontally across the torso and the back hand by the chin. In fact, it's a style used most famously by Floyd Mayweather Jr., widely considered to be the best defensive boxer in history. What's really happening with the Philly shell is that both the head and body are being protected at the same time, one arm across the body and one arm close to the head. The boxer will also blade off at a more extreme angle, which means that their opponent can't see their chest straight on and the head is now off the center line, making it harder to get a solid direct hit on either of those major targets. So overall, it's a smart blocking strategy on KSI's part. And it's also clear from his post-fight reaction that KSI's block wasn't the only thing inspired by Floyd Mayweather.
This is what Mayweather did against McGregor.
I mean, making kissy faces at my opponent.
Yeah, I saw that. I was laughing when he did this originally in it. He was like kissing, he was blowing kisses at him and stuff. It was really quite funny.
Isn't really how I would try to strike fear into their hearts, but heck, what can I say? I'm just a lover, not a fighter. Or I just have a really punchable face. But you're not gonna win a fight by blocks alone. You gotta throw yourself a few punches. So let's look at KSI's strategy first. Now, if Joe Weller had been paying close enough attention, he actually would have gotten a hint as to KSI's fight strategy during the weigh-in prior to the match.
I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna box him. He's gonna wanna fight me. I ain't gonna fight you, bro. I'm gonna box you to death, bro.
Now, to the uninitiated, boxing and fighting might sound interchangeable, but KSI is really making a comment here on the different kinds of fight strategies that he anticipates that he and Joe will be using. Boxers are usually placed into one of 3 classifications: swarmers, outboxers, and brawlers. A swarmer is usually a fighter who attempts to overwhelm his opponent with a high volume of punches from close range. Neither of these guys in this fight count as a swarmer, but KSI's statement about boxing versus fighting during the weigh-in opinion indicates that he sees himself as an outboxer and Joe as a brawler. Outboxers tend to be faster than their opponents and try to score points by landing a lot of punches from a distance and evading the punches of their opponents. As a result, the most effective outboxers usually have a longer reach than their opponent, and that's exactly what we see play out in the KSI Weller fight. Well, I can't find any official measurements for each fighter's wingspan. KSI is listed at 5'11" to Joe's 5'9", which means that KSI is going to have
Yeah, he would have longer arms for that.
longer arms, allowing him to throw more of the long jabs that we see throughout the fight.
I don't want him here.
Oh wait, wait, I just put it together. I know why the game theorists would think that Logan would win. Because Logan is freaking huge, as in he's so tall, so his arm length would be longer, so he could technically do what KSI is doing to Joe Weller, in the sense that his arm is long, so he can, he has a longer reach. I think that's exactly why the game theorist thinks that Logan would win.
I want him here. I want him always here, so I can just jab, 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 and f with him with my range.
As long as KSI moves his feet properly, he can put himself in a position where he can hit Joe, and Joe can't hit back from the same distance. So does this mean that Joe Weller had no chance in this match? Not at all. Joe and Mike Tyson are about the same height at 5'9". So what was the difference here? Well, outside of just raw punch power, Joe never tried to get inside of KSI's range. He just sat there and took it. And again,
Exactly, that's what I noticed when I saw the live stream, is that he didn't really go at him, he just kind of stood there absorbing shots.
and to KSI's credit, this is something he totally recognized and exploited.
So what Joe's doing here was sick. He's putting the pressure on and he's throwing. That's what he should have done at the beginning. Whenever he gets close, I just clinch, and then boom, and then I'm out, and then I'm out.
In fact, Joe's lack of movement makes me wonder if his plan was to originally have KSI punch himself out, eventually getting too tired to defend himself. It's also something KSI once again saw coming.
Remember, you were like, the fight was going to be 3 rounds of 2 minutes, and then you wanted it to be 6 threes because you were like, oh, you're not fit enough. As soon as you said that, I knew, okay, that's one of your game plans.
So clearly, not only was this not a stain on the noble art of boxing, or just a shameless publicity stunt from 2 online celebrities, but instead it was a well put together amateur boxing match with KSI proving himself to be a smart and savvy fighter. But that, of course, opens the door to more matches in the future.
Yes, I can't wait for more matches. I can't wait. I think FuziTube is one of the other people that there was a possibility that he would go against. And that would be very interesting to see. But I don't think it's going to be FuziTube. I think it's going to be, like, Vitali. And I think that would be a great fight. Because Vitali, he's decent height. As well as he's jacked. Like, he's in good shape. So, I mean, all he has to do is lose some weight, get some cardio, and get some training. And it would be a very close match, I would think. And I really want to see Vitali versus KSI. That'd be a spectacle to behold.
And you know that where there's an opportunity to make a spectacle of yourself, you can bet that the brothers Paul will soon be there. And lo and behold, within hours of the bell bringing KSI's fight to the close, the Pauls were already tripping over themselves to be his next opponent. But for as much as I'd love to see a savvy fighter like JJ knock a tooth out of those smarmy grins, there's actually a danger here if he accepts the match. Whereas KSI had the reach advantage on Joe Weller, both of the Paul brothers stand at around 6'2" and probably have a pretty good understanding of angles and footwork from their history of wrestling. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Logan and Jake were actually both wrestlers. And as much as I hate to admit it, but watching their matches, they're pretty good. Anyway, if KSI...
Okay, so I freaking called this. The reason why the game theorist thinks Logan Paul would win is because, they're freaking huge. So his arm length would be massive as well. So he could, he has a long reach. If that makes sense.
Tries to use his outboxing style against either of these guys, they'll be the ones who are able to strike from farther away. In other words, if KSI wants to have a hope of winning, and Lord knows if he accepts this match, the internet needs him to win it, he has to be willing to change his style. If I were training KSI, I'd tell him to be more of a swarmer in this fight. Get in close, get low, and throw more hooks and uppercuts from close range. But thankfully, it seems like KSI, once again showing himself to be a smart fighter, is already starting to take these sorts sorts of strategies to heart.
If I was gonna fight Logan or Jake, I know they're both taller than me. I'm going to box them like Mike Tyson.
So this strategy change makes perfect sense for him to stand a chance in the ring. However, if KSI doesn't have the power to knock out Logan Paul quickly, he's gonna be toast. Unless, of course, when he says fight like Mike Tyson, he means he's gonna bite off Logan Paul's ear, which, come to think of it, that would be a fight I would
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy to see.
totally be excited to see.
Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I know it was really different, and it was really different compared to the Game Theorist's normal videos. But he does have a point when it comes to Logan Paul and his reach. However, you know, KSI is not even going to fight the Pauls, as he's already made clear he's not going to fight them because they just keep trying to wrestle or whatever. But anyway, I hope you guys did like this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend if you're new, and subscribe to join the family. Also, make sure you go subscribe to the Game Theorist. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.